So welcome everybody. This is the 2026-2027 CT10 Technology, Engineering, and Design update for the coming school year. So there's some significant changes to this course, so we're excited to share these with you today. Some of you have heard about them, some of you haven't, but this will be a great time to learn about those and ask any questions. And again, this is being recorded, so if you miss anything, both the slideshow and the recording will be posted on our Moodle, as well as the new resource center that we'll talk about here today. So again, we're going to record here. This will be posted in the CTE Moodle/Resource Center. So if you didn't know, CTE at DPI is moving away from Moodle. Yay, for most people, I think that's exciting. Starting July 1st, so that's less than a month already, which is wild, we'll be moving to what we're calling the CTE Resource Hub, and that's going to be hosted in Canvas. And teachers and educators across the state will be able to access that via NC Ed Cloud, so no more separate login to Moodle. So we're really hoping that that's going to help a lot of things. Our Moodle participation, we as we track it, it goes down, 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 and down, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So anyway, we're moving to the new Resource Hub. So Moodle will actually go down August 1st, but the Resource Hub will stand up July 1st. So there'll be about a month transition there. But our team at DPI is vigorously transferring everything over from Moodle to Canvas. So from a user's perspective, from your perspective, there shouldn't be anything really new except a new website to log in. But all the stuff that's currently in Moodle, plus a lot more stuff, we're excited about that, will be in the new Resource Hub, including this presentation, these slides, and any of our curriculum updates that are coming out in June, July, or over the summer. Those will all be in the new Resource Hub as well. So we're pretty excited about that. If you have any questions, we're a small group here, so feel free to just put them in the chat. I'm moderating the chat here on the side, so you can ask questions there, and I will stop and answer them. Where kind of there's a natural break, and we'll go from there. So my name is Mike Renee. I've met, I believe, a few of you, but if I haven't met you before, my name is Mike Renee. I'm a CTE education consultant here at DPI. There's my email, and my contact will be at the end as well. And I'm the consultant that's responsible for managing this course at the state level. Again, we're not going to use the Q&A feature. You can just put your questions in chat, and I can see them off to the side because we're a small group here. But I'll happy to stick around at the end as well. If you want to ask questions at the end, I'll stick around as long as need be to answer those questions. So here is our updates at a glance. As you can see there's quite a few, and we'll go over each of these in turn, but you can kind of quickly glance at those. You can see we have some curriculum guide updates, and these, I should say, these curriculum guide updates are live now. They are in Moodle now. So if you get the curriculum guide in Moodle, you'll see these. They were posted several weeks ago, but going forward, obviously they'll be there as well. So we've added course outcomes, and we'll talk about what course outcomes are if you're not familiar. We've added new unpacked content that crosswalks with the IT Foundations of Technology and Engineering course, and that's going to be super important for one of these other updates. We've added course objectives, and then we have a new proof of learning, and that's probably the biggest change that's coming this coming school year in 26-27. Currently, the proof of learning was a local POL. It is now being moved, or is moved, to a CTE state assessment. So, and we'll get into that at a later slide. Because of that, because it's going to be in field test and there's a new CTE state assessment, we will be having pilot check-ins regularly throughout next school year. So teachers and support staff, directors, CIMCs can come and ask questions about the course, kind of get feedback from other teachers. We're really hoping that teachers will be able to collaborate with our new pathway lead that we're going to talk about as well to help teachers prepare for this new assessment. I taught this course years and years and years ago when it had a state assessment, and it hasn't had one for a while, so it's kind of gone back and forth. But for a lot of teachers, this is going to be something new, that the state assessment. So it'll be kind of a big change for them, and it's going to be really important that they access the curriculum in the correct way and that type of thing. And we'll talk about that in this webinar. As mentioned, we do have a new pathway lead teacher. So if you're not familiar, DPI rolled that out this year, where each pathway pathway, or most pathways, will have a teacher lead, and I'll talk about who our teacher lead is for this pathway, and that'll just be that person is a teacher that's in the classroom that works closely with the consultants here at DPI to help do professional development, to do monthly office hours so teachers can check in. They'll be responsible for doing some on-demand PD, and this person is an expert in teaching this course. He's been teaching it for years and years, and presents, regionally and even nationally on this course. So he's a great resource, and a teacher that's actually in the classroom every day that'll have some real feedback to help other educators. And then we'll talk about some more professional development opportunities, because we have quite a few of those for this course coming up next year. So let's start with course outcomes. If you're not familiar, these have been added to every DPI state managed course now, I should say CTE managed course. So you might have seen some of these courses that rolled out this year. I think we only had a couple that had course outcomes this year, but starting next year, and any course that comes out of DPI, any subsequent year, are going to have course outcomes attached to them. This is kind of coming from some of the latest research that says, when you do standards and objectives, they often can be a little confusing to students and parents and other caregivers. And so we kind of have taken this new approach, we call it kind of backwards design, where we start and we say, okay, what do we actually want students to learn? So course outcomes are supposed to be student friendly, and I like to add the word parent friendly as well, because sometimes parents are, helping students make decisions about what courses to take at the high school level. So these are student and parent-friendly language about what the student will actually learn in the course. And we realize a lot of schools and a lot of districts have already been doing this, in their syllabi, or, sometimes when they do a course fair in the spring to advertise as the courses they're going to offer the following school year. A lot of y'all have been doing this already, and some of the feedback we've gotten is because of that. So we've decided to add these to all our new courses that will be coming out of DPI. So this course here has them, and so you can see what they are there. Again, they reflect the standards and the objectives, but really the idea is we start with the course outcomes, and then we kind of tailor the course to those outcomes. Now, in the case of this course, we do have a vendor curriculum that we use, so we kind of have to tie our standards directly to what the vendor provides. But because we work closely with the vendor, and we'll talk about the vendor here in the next slide, we see a lot of overlap there, and which is really good. So our course outcomes are very much matched to what the students are going to see in the course. And so our curriculum vendor for this course remains ITEA. So ITEA is our curriculum vendor. And in the past, teachers may or may not have known about this. We have been really pushing it hard this school year, and we're very happy that because ITEA provides us numbers, and we've had hundreds even, of teachers across the state signing up for this. So this is really important. This is where teachers are going to access the most up-to-date version of the curriculum. So in Moodle / the resource hub that's coming, soon here, there's a link, and there's a link here as well in the slideshow of how to access that curriculum. Teachers have to go to this website and create an account. It's free, the free account with their school email, and that'll give them access to the curriculum. So this is the vendor for the curriculum. They can't just go to Moodle or the resource hub and just download the curriculum guide. The curriculum guide is great. It's going to be their guide, right? But to get the actual nuts and bolts, the slide decks, the assessments, the projects, it's going to be really important that teachers follow through with this. And so this is going to be something that our pathway teacher is going to talk a lot about with our new teachers and veteran teachers, as well as, in our professional development, we're going to really, stress that in the past, I think what happened, and I'll be honest, when I first started teaching, somebody just handed me, well, back then it was a binder, but nowadays a lot of times it's a flash drive or a Google Drive, right? And someone says, here's the curriculum, right? This is what the teacher was using last year. Unfortunately, what's happened is sometimes they're not getting the most recent up-to-date version of the curriculum. And now, because we have a state assessment, it is going to be really important that teachers are using the most up-to-date version of the curriculum. They get that from accessing this website, okay? So our course, CT10, which we call technology, engineering, and design in here in North Carolina. It's a little confusing because ITEA calls it Foundations of Technology and Engineering, and sometimes they even put the acronym, because right in education we love our acronyms, FOTE. So that I find that's generally the biggest source of confusion is teachers. They're like, well, where's CT10? ITEA doesn't call it CT10. They don't even call it Technology, Engineering, and Design. They call it Foundations of Technology and Engineering. Why we didn't name it that? I've asked that question several times, but I've been told we can't rename it that. So I wish we would just have the same names, but we don't. This is all laid out in the Moodle and the Resource Hub for teachers to understand. So it'll be very clear, what they need to access. But again, they'll always be able to reach out to myself or the pathway teacher. And I've met with several teachers at the beginning of this prior school year to ask them how to, to show them how to access the curriculum. So that's, we're always here to available to hop on a call. We can walk them through it. Unfortunately, we just can't send them the Google Drive. And the reason, because it is in a Google Drive folder, so that's all it is. But ITEA, as part of our statewide agreement with them, wants to be able to track, and we honestly do too, because we pay ITEA quite a bit of money from the state level. So we want to know how many people are signing up for it. And if we just pass the Google Drive link around, then ITEA and here at DPI, we have no idea how many people are actually accessing it. So we really, there's nothing preventing us or preventing teachers from doing that. I'm sure some are, but we really highly want teachers to go to this website, create the free account, and access the curriculum that way. Okay. Any questions? I do see a question in the chat about the POL, and when I get to that slide, I'll definitely address that because that is a very good question. So here are the standards in the ITEA curriculum unit crosswalk. So this is updated a little bit. There's some significant changes from this year. One of the big changes you'll notice is standards 6 and 7 are now supplemental. So again, if you're not aware, most CTE courses have what we call the career and in leadership and employability skills to them. Because this course has a lot of meat to it, a lot to it, we have now made those supplemental, which means they're not tested. It'd be great if teachers can get to them, but we've moved them to supplemental because standards 1 through 5 are what the assessment is going to be on. So we've kind of shifted them around a little bit. And then you'll notice Unit 1 is where we get into computer science. This course is one of those courses that counts for the computer science high school graduation requirement. So the computer science piece is in there. And then students get into the process of engineering. They get into kind of different types of engineering and how products and services are designed using engineering. They look at the 9 core technologies. They look at simple machines, and then they do a little bit of CAD. And that's the course in a nutshell right there. The curriculum, like I said, from ITEA is matched directly to our course standards. So there's a kind of a one-to-one direct connection there, except for standards 6 and 7. Because again, those standards are developed in North Carolina, and they're in all of our CTE courses. But for this particular course, they're supplemental. Some courses they're required. In this course, they're supplemental. So the updated curriculum guide, again, it's currently posted in Moodle, so you can go access it right now in Moodle, or teachers can, and of course it'll be in the new CTE Resource Hub that comes out July 1st. It'll have those course outcomes that I just showed you. It'll have the updated standards that I just showed you. It'll have objectives. The course currently doesn't have objectives, but because of the new CTE state assessment, we were required to add objectives. So my team and a team of teachers that we put together across the state, we had a team of 3 teachers, and they worked on this project with myself this whole last year, this whole last school year, to get this course ready to be released. And so we worked really hard to get the standards and the objectives very much aligned to the ITEA curriculum, as well as to prepare students best for the state assessment. And with that, there's unpacked content updates. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we remove those career leadership and employability skills to supplemental. So the proof of learning is a CTE state assessment. So as most of you are probably aware, that's a 100 multiple choice question at the end of the course. This course will be in field test for next year, beyond 26, 27. That is to be determined. Generally, a course stays in field test for a couple of years, but that, there's no guarantees of that. It certainly will be in field test next year for 26, 27. For 27, 28, that'll be announced at a different date, but that field test year gives us here at DPI and our curriculum team a chance to look at the results of the assessment and make any adjustments that we need to make. So a question was in the chat was asked about the rationale from going to a post-assessment to a PBM. I guess I need to be careful how I answer that. It was decided by leadership that was the direction they wanted to go. I recommended a PBM, but I was overwritten by leadership. So I don't really have a really good answer for that. One, I think part of the justification, and this is just me speculating, so again, don't say that this is DPI saying this, but I think, well, I know for sure this course is taught in a lot of high schools throughout the state. And so my guess is that leadership at DPI wanted to have a course that was kind of taught from the mountains to the coast, everywhere in between. And it would give us a good sample size, a nice representative sample of how students are doing in a kind of pre-engineering course. I don't know. That's my speculation. I really like our new PBM model. And as some of you are aware, a lot of courses are going to the PBMs. And some of the courses I manage have PBMs, and I'm really excited for that model. I think it's going to do our students and our teachers a lot of good. But for this course, they decided to go to a state assessment. Will that change? I don't have the answer to that. I will certainly recommend PBMs because I think, especially in a course like this, quite honestly, I taught this course for many, many years when I was in the classroom, and it suits nicely to a PBM, but it does have a state assessment. So that was kind of the decision that was made. I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's, the answer that I have. So again, it will be field tests next year. So, we'll be collecting that data to see how students are doing and what adjustments we need to make to the curriculum guide to see, perhaps some of the questions that we developed with the curriculum team. We spent countless hours on designing this assessment, and we feel pretty confident that it's well aligned. But of course, we won't know that until we get some of the data back once the course is out there in the field starting in August. Because it's field test and because it has a state assessment, we will be doing pilot or field test check-ins. So those are those are posted right here. But again, they'll be posted in the CTE Resource Center. So these will be led by both myself and by our pathway lead teacher that you'll get to see here in a second. And those, again, the design of those is for teachers or anybody that's supporting the course can come in. They'll be virtual, just like we're doing now, and can ask questions about the course, what they should be emphasizing, how much time they should be spending on each of the objectives. Of course, there is percentages, given in the curriculum, in the standards in the curriculum guide. So that's kind of the guide that teachers should use, in terms of how much time to spend on each objective. But these pilot check-ins are a great opportunity really to build community as well. So, fellow educators can talk to each other and ask, say, like, hey, I'm really struggling with this objective. Do you got any suggestions? That type of thing. So again, all these dates, they'll be virtual and they'll be posted in the Resource Center. And again, that Resource Center in Canvas will go live July 1st. So you'll see all those signups in there, and teachers or support staff, directors, CIMCs will be able to go in there and click on it and sign up, as soon as they're posted to be able to attend those. And again, those will be recorded as well, just like this. So if you can't make those dates, they'll be shared in the Resource Center. So you can always, find the recording afterwards. So here's the technology engineering design pathway. There's no changes there. I just put it up on the slide just to let you know there's no changes. So the CT10 is still a prerequisite course, or prerequisite course, and then our concentrators are CT11 and CT12. So there's no changes there. That's exactly like it always has. So even though we added the new POL, there's no change to the pathway. CT11 and CT12 remain local assessment, mostly because enrollment in those courses statewide are pretty low. So if you're offering those courses in the pathway, those are still locally decided assessments. But again, CT10, because of enrollment is so high across the state, will have that state assessment. Here's our new pathway lead teacher for technology, engineering, design. So for the whole pathway. So Shane Westhafer, he's taught both CT10, CT11, and CT12 for many, many years. Very much a veteran teacher. And so his direct email, well, that's not his school email, but that's the email that'll go to him. He technically doesn't start until August when he comes back into the classroom, but that email will go to both him and myself. And so you can use that email. Of course, you can always reach out to me. But if a teacher feels more comfortable reaching out to a fellow teacher, that's in the classroom, or that pathway email address, and again, this will all be posted in the resource hub. But we're really excited for Shane to come on board starting next school year to be our pathway lead teacher. He brings years and years and years of experience and lots of professional development experiences teaching engineering courses of all sorts of shapes and sizes. So we're really excited that Shane agreed to do this for us next year and hopefully beyond. And then speaking of professional development, we have quite a bit of opportunities. So Shane and myself will be developing an on-demand web series. So again, that'll be posted in the CTE Resource Hub, as well as our CSIT, Computer Science, IT, and Technology Education YouTube playlist. Again, all linked in the Resource Hub in Moodle. And that'll just be some on-demand videos. Right now we have some on the microbit. The microbit is one of the devices that teachers and students can use for the computer science portion of the course. And so we'll be doing some webinars, on-demand webinars for that. So if a teacher's never used the microbit before, they can tune into those and kind of learn the basics of how to use those, and as well as a variety of other topics. And so those will all be posted on demand. We have weekly office hours. Those continue throughout the summer. So if you ever have questions about this course or any course, Tuesdays at 4 p.m., one of the members of our team is always available online at that link, and we will answer any questions that we can about this course or any other course. And if we don't have the answer, we will certainly find it for you. So we have those opportunities. We also have community PLC building with Shane. So Shane will be posting more about this when he comes officially on board in August. And that'll be posted in the Resource Center. So kind of doing some, again, virtual events just to kind of, build a professional learning community for this course. Again, because it is taught by so many different educators across the state, we really want to build that community. I know when I was in the classroom, I had a lot of questions about how do I teach this, and I didn't really have anyone else in my building to help me. My CT director was great, but she didn't really know the course as well, so we were kind of like, scratching our heads together, and I don't want that experience for other teachers. So we're really excited to kind of build this PLC community, professional learning community, with Shane. And again, he brings a tremendous amount of resources and experience to be able to share with both new, because we know we'll have new educators for this course, but also we have lots of veteran teachers out there, and this will be new for veteran teachers. As I mentioned earlier, some folks have been teaching this class for a long time, but because we now have a state assessment, it's going to have to look a little different. Hopefully not a whole lot different, but it'll probably have to look a little different. So yeah, we're excited about that. And then finally, we're going to have a professional learning day at DPI. So that is scheduled for Tuesday, September 29th, and that'll be at DPI here in Raleigh. And that'll be for the whole pathway. So CT10, CT11, CT12. We don't have a whole lot of schools teaching that, but certainly CT12 teachers are more than welcome to come as well. We'll have lots of hands-on activities. Shane will be there. We'll have probably some other educators as well that have been teaching this course, and it'll just be a great day to get some teachers all together that are teaching this course, talk about, it'll be early in the school year, so we can talk about some tips and tricks about how to best prepare students for the assessment, and that type of thing. We'll do some microbit training. So we're really excited for that. The time will be posted. It hasn't officially been confirmed. I have a room and all that, but I have to confirm the times. It'll be most of the day. So do expect your teachers to, be out the entire day. If you're gonna send them to this training. We really hope you do. We're hoping to get a good amount. I think I have a room that holds like 60, maybe even more than that. So it would be amazing if we could get 60 folks. And again, the link to sign up is not live yet. I'm working with our PD team to get that live, but that will be live when the CTE Resource Center goes live July 1st. The link to sign up for this training will be in there as well. So starting July 1st, folks can start signing up for this. And we will be providing lunch lunch. TSA will be providing lunch, so and there'll be CEUs available as well. So if teachers need CEUs, they'll be awarded, and we will be providing lunch, thanks to NCTSA, to all participants. So that's really all I have. I try to go quick, respect your time, but I certainly will answer any questions. There's been a couple good ones in the chat, and I think I felt like I've answered those. But if anyone else has any other questions, my contact information is here. Let me go to the next slide. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. We have we're here all summer, and so we have I'll be taking 1 week of vacation, and then of course I'll be at CTE summer conference for a week. But we stress and really pride ourselves on getting back to you as soon as possible, because we know teachers and directors and CIMCs have a lot of questions about this coming school year, particularly with the computer science graduation requirement. That's coming. Whether you're ready or not, it's coming. As far as we know, right? We haven't heard otherwise. The legislature is currently in session, but as far as we know, we haven't heard that they are changing any of that. But again, if there is some change, we will certainly communicate that. This course, as I mentioned, does count for that, for the graduation requirement. This course doesn't say in the slides because it's not new, but this course can be taught at the middle school level, and so we anticipate lots of PSUs teaching this course at the middle school level, and then it would count both for the middle school and the high school graduation requirement, legislation requirement. So that, again, that's not new. That was announced a while ago, but in case you had a question about that. So again, my name is Mike Renee. I'm happy to stick around if you have any questions. But if not, I appreciate all that you're doing for our students in North Carolina. I know it's an extremely busy, hectic time of year. If you're taking some time off this summer, please enjoy yourself. You definitely deserved it. But I will stick around as long as I need to answer any questions. So hope to see a lot of you at summer conference.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.